With these video segments, what we're ultimately trying to do is set you up for success, to introduce some concepts that you can start to pull from, as well as some actual mental training techniques that you can incorporate into your training arsenal to make you a more effective combat athlete. So one way that we do this is by identifying how it is that we want to feel when we train, how we want to feel when we compete. So this is a very simple exercise to do that. Now, for this, find a way to make yourself physically comfortable. You can sit, you can lay down, and just allow yourself to be in a position where you can still hear my words, but don't worry about if you can see the screen or not, because I'm actually going to ask you to close your eyes in just a moment. Okay, you ready? Go ahead and just allow your eyes to close. Now, as you're closing your eyes, go ahead and breathe deeply and very rhythmically. Just pull air all the way down into your abdomen and all the way back out, slowly and at a rate that just feels comfortable for you. And take a few deep breaths just like that. And I want you to, with your eyes closed, think about a time when you were performing very well. Now, it could have been in a competition, could have just been when you were rolling, a sparring match, but everything was really coming together. And it was coming together probably in a way that may have surprised you. Think about a moment like that, where things just sort of felt effortless, not because it was easy to do, but it felt effortless in that you weren't forcing yourself to do them. You can't really force hand speed, you can't force reaction time, but when you're in your optimum training place for you, those things are a natural byproduct of that. So all of the strength that you have will naturally just be expressed. All of your skills will naturally be expressed when you are at your best. And that's usually when you're relaxed, and that's usually when you're feeling positive. So think about a moment like that. Maybe that moment even exists on videotape somewhere. If that's the case, just remind yourself of what it was like to watch that video. And if it was never videotaped, just think about that memory so clearly that you can imagine yourself stepping out of your own body and just kind of watching it like it's on a screen. And watch it, and watch those moments where you were either countering an opponent very effectively, or you were completely dominating that opponent, and you were essentially having everything that you wanted to have happen in that setting occur. And look at what it looks like when you're doing that, as you're executing your techniques. And look at it again in your mind. And just brighten up the colors a little bit, and see if brightening up the colors and maybe making that image in your mind a little bit lighter actually allows you to see more clearly and feel those emotions a little bit more clearly as well. If you want, go ahead and rewind a critical moment and watch it again. And rewind it and watch it again. You can even freeze frame it and really study what was going on at a very specific moment. You may have a particular memory that's very sharp, very distinct, and just allow yourself to be in that space on that day when you were doing very, very well, and you were really happy with how you were doing. And think about all of the thoughts that were going on in your head at that time, and the thoughts that you experienced after that experience. Think about what those thoughts are. Think about the feelings that you had during those moments. And as you're thinking about those thoughts and thinking about those feelings, try to consolidate them down. So if it's a list of, say, 10 different thoughts and feelings, make that list a little bit shorter. Leave only the strongest associations, the strongest feelings from those moments. Continue to sort of dial those down, squeeze them down until you're left with one word. Just one word that really for you sums up the entirety of that experience. All of those feelings of success and all of those feelings of satisfaction, all of those powerful thoughts that you had, just one word now. And write that word down somewhere. Keep that word with you. We call that word a focus word. So as you're prepping for a competition, if you're feeling anxious, you're feeling a little bit afraid, just focus on that word. I'll have wrestlers take that word, write it on their offhand with a Sharpie. And as they're getting ready for the match, they'll just rub that word. Like say if it's just power, for example. and they'll just rub that word into their hand, and eventually it just starts to fade in. And I'll tell them, you're installing power into your hand. In a few minutes, your opponent is going to feel that power as you put your hands on them. Using your focus word can help you with anxiousness, fear, or just simply distractions when a flood of thoughts that really don't seem to have anything to do with what's about to happen, those thoughts are happening. Focus on your focus word in those moments. Close your eyes, imagining that you're seeing it written in the sky by a skywriter. Actually look down on the floor and just kind of draw it with your foot. You can have it written on your hand. You can do it any number of ways. You can draw each letter into your hand, just simulated, so that you got yourself something else to occupy your mind with that brings up all of the feelings that you want to experience in that moment, all the thoughts that you want to experience in that moment, and be focused on that. Focus on your own focus word.